Electric kettle, in fact, identical to this one. According to Greer and her friend Natasha, who was visiting, it didn't just tip over, it exploded.
It was the scariest thing I've ever seen, yeah, definitely.
Greer was preparing breakfast and coffee while her toddler was sitting on the bench waiting to eat.
You want Weet-Bix this morning, honey?
Natasha was setting up for her partner's son's birthday party, which they were having at Jason and Greer's house. But then...
Like a really loud crack, like kind of like you're snapping a roller.
You heard like an explosive bang, loud enough to shock you, and instantly turned around, and that's when we seen Dayton covered in the water.
Natasha ran to the bathroom and got the cold water running, while Greer grabbed her son and was close behind.
By the time we got him in the shower, the blisters were popping already, which I feel like I'm going to cry now. It was awful, absolutely awful, like, yeah. But his mum was definitely in a lot of shock, and I was the emotional one, as I'm going to be now.
And a warning, some of the photos coming up are disturbing.
I took his pants off and automatically the skin had peeled off, and water, when I was trying to put him under, was like filling up in the skin. He was screaming and I tried to put him under the water and he was just tensing up.
They drove straight to their nearby doctor's surgery and were sent to Christchurch Hospital where Jason met them.
And they said it was 2nd degree on verge of 3rd degree, and they weren't sure if he'd need a skin graft or not until the burns had healed up a little bit more.
When they took the bandage off his foot, it was just like raw flesh.
Dayton had to be sedated for some of his dressings over the coming weeks, but fortunately a skin graft wasn't required and his wounds have healed much better than expected.
Right here.
So how exactly did this happen? According to Greer and Natasha, the kettle was still in its holder after the accident. They're certain there's no way it was knocked.
We know it was an explosion because the top of it had just come off and glass everywhere and the water just ran straight down.
The lid was completely flowing off with the glass. In my mind, there's no doubt as to what happened at all.
Ordinary glass handles heat, but not thermal shock or sudden temperature changes. So many glass objects like this kettle, ovenware and the well-known brand Pyrex are treated so they are thermal shock heat resistant and strong. After initially writing the incident off as just one of those things, 2 weeks later Jason started wondering what really happened. So he says he rang up Briscoe's Salisbury Street, where the kettle was bought 3 years earlier, and asked for the manager.
He asked about the warranty, and I said, no, it's about 3 years old, and he said, well, the warranty's void then. There's nothing we can do.
Jason no longer had the jug and says he wasn't asking for money back, he just wanted the manufacturer notified about the incident.
I thought they might contact Zip and, let them know. And if that's not the case, I thought they'd at least give me their number so I'd be able to ring them and let them know. And I was like, well, what's Zip's number then? Because we can ring them. And they just said, we can't give you that information.
It was when Jason couldn't find Zip's details himself that he came to Target. Later on Target, how does the kettle's manufacturer explain the claimed explosion? And could this glass and kettle chaos happen in your kitchen?
We've let the maintenance slide at the Target house, so there's a couple of small jobs that need doing.
This guttering is blocked, dumping water over the sides. There used to be a shelf in the laundry and we'd like a new one put in, and our actress is very proud of this light fitting but doesn't know how to install it.
Time to call a handyman.
And the first one is just that. It's Howard, the handyman from Oraki. Our actress shows him where she wants the shelf put in and then explains the guttering issue. On to the light fitting, but he has some concerns.
He explains that the light fitting can't be screwed into the plaster ceiling to suspend it, but he'll look at it.
In the laundry, he uses a rafter square to check if the corner is square. Good thinking.
Over time, buildings move, so walls are no longer square. If you assume that they are, then you could end up with a shelf that doesn't fit.
He calls our actress to find out how deep she wants the shelf. He takes measurements and then marks up the melamine sheet and uses a skill saw to cut it back inside, and it's a perfect fit. Next, he retrieves an offcut to use as support for the shelf, good thinking, and screws it into the wall. On goes the sheet, which is screwed into place. He inserts PEF rod into the gap, and this provides backing for the sealant to adhere to. Then on goes the sealant. Job done, he moves on to the next task, clearing the guttering. But first he fixes the sagging corner. It's then on with some gloves, he grabs a bucket and starts to clear the guttering. It's good to see him do this off a ladder, although it should be facing the house. Attention to detail though, he wipes down the entire length of the guttering. He then does a quick clean-up and it's on to the light. The existing fitting is given a thorough examination and he notices a problem.
That screw is not the bloody one that fits in there.
Unable to fit the light, he leaves a note stating it needs another screw and that an electrician should do the job. That's lucky because
This type of installation requires an electrical certificate. Otherwise, it isn't compliant. And that could then affect your insurance if something went wrong with it.
he locks the house and leaves. Looking at the after shots, and the shelf is level and he's recessed it slightly so it doesn't stick out. That's great. But screwing it down from the top has resulted in a crack. At least, however, the screws are recessed and sealed. There was a bit of a mess though. To the guttering, and it's clear that he's straightened it by screwing in tech screws, the right ones for the job. So our actress thought this tradesman was pleasant and helpful. He went the extra distance with the roof and recommended an electrician fit the light. He was only let down by screwing the shelf down from the top and failing to clean up. So we've given Howard the handyman 9 out of 10. Well done.
After the break, we hear back from Zip New Zealand. How certain are they that this won't happen to others?
And are these guys on target or New Zealand's next top model?
Cheese!
Our trial of handymen continues.